And welcome to Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie on this beautiful Friday alongside Rodney Nelson. I'm Jim Byers. It is officially summer, and we're really, Rodney, into kind of the meaty part of the season now. We've still got a few weeks of racing left, counting this one. And we're just into that part of the meet where handicapping is a little different. We have a lot of races over the track to go by instead of early in the meet when we're judging horses coming from all sorts of different jurisdictions. Should give us an opportunity to pick some winners today, I would hope. And, some days last week were easier than others. We had one day where only one favorite won. We had another day where at least half the winners were favorites. Hopefully it'll land somewhere in between.
Yeah, I want to say I picked the late pick 3 last Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
It was only one favorite in that sequence, but it paid me $3 on the pick 3. So
there were some co-favorites where the non-favorite won and some other short prices. Yeah, I remember that night.
But then there's also been days, just like the other day, I think we had to pick 4, paid 2 out of 4. There was 2 bombs that came in the last 2 races that paid over $30 a piece. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, you pick the right horses, you get rewarded handsomely sometimes.
Yeah. And carryovers in both the pick 5, which hasn't been hit for a couple of days, and the jackpot super high 5 in the last race. That carryover is 5,900. So it's built up quite nicely. Let's get on to our analysis of the 8-race card tonight. We're fast and firm. Temperatures will be about 91 Fahrenheit when we get started at 6:35 Central, which is in 63 minutes. On to race 1. Once again, Harry Hernandez, unfortunately injured a week ago, is off his mounts. Watch the screens for the riding replacements for Harry. Scratch number 1, Sherry's Ridge out of race 1. These are Texas-bred filly maiden claimers, and they're going 5.5 furlongs. And it looks like we're destined for a heavy favorite, maybe an odds-on favorite in this race in High Caliber Catch.
Yeah, I think High Caliber Catch is the one to beat here in the opener. This horse has been right around that win. I mean, the last 2 races finished second in both of those. 3 consecutive thirds before that, a second before that. I mean, this horse has been running at the $7,500 level, $15,000, $30,000 even. It was a solid third in that one. So, I mean, the horse has been performing well. Has been getting up to at least hit the board. I mean, has finished in the top 3 in 6 of 8 races so far in 2024. This horse has run a lot so far this year. 3 races at Lone Star already. 2 of those races were seconds. Another one was a third. So, I mean, the horse has been right up there in it. I'm going to go ahead and give High Caliber Catch a chance to break her maiden tonight at this $7,500 level. Number 5, Ruby Soho is going to be my second choice. 10-1, so I want to touch on this horse. Last 2 races weren't the best for this horse. There's no doubt about it. I mean, beaten by 18.25 last time, 10.25 before that. But if you look at that race 3 back at Sam Houston, it was 5 furlongs, ran a solid third, and that went behind 2 next out winners. I mean, the winner of that one, Highlander's Edge, won it by 7.5. Ruby Soho, if you're looking to try to beat that favorite, I don't know, you might want to take a chance on this 5. But I think High Caliber Catch is going to be a tough one to catch here in the opener.
Yeah, I mean, she, at this level, sometimes I worry about jumping on heavy favorites, but she is by far the most accomplished. 6 straight seconds or thirds. I mean, she's got some money burner in her also. I mean, she's also been favored 4 straight times fairly heavily. But I think, everybody eventually gets a field they can beat. This might be it. Her last race was really pretty good. The winner, Divertida, came back, didn't come back, but was dropping out of maiden special weight races and won very nicely that day. On paper, the second best filly in here, Along Came Thunder, was just beaten fairly decisively by a High Caliber Catch 2 weeks ago. So really hard to go against her. Second time blinkers. She's the heavy favorite. Again, it's one of those where, you pick her and hope for the best. I mean, she'll be a heavy favorite.
The thing is, how low can you take the odds on High Caliber Catch?
That's the thing. At races of this level, it's always scary to take a super short price, especially one that's proven that she can take money and not win.
Right.
On to the second. The entire field in this 1 mile, $10,000 beaten claiming race looks like they're stalker closers. I'm very curious to see who ends up taking the early lead in this. and what the pace scenario looks like. $10,000, as we mentioned, Beaten claiming at a mile. Scratch number 7, Ego.
Yeah, I'm on number 2, Right Tone, here in this spot. The horse ran 4th last time out of 5th before that. Horse has run 4 times so far in 2024, does have a win. That came back in January at Sam Houston Race Park. I mean, the horse has been putting together some nice races, coming at a much higher level than this one. Drops in for $10,000 tonight. I mean, look, last time his horse was in for 30 G's, 50 before that. So, I mean, the class relief, it's not going to hurt Right Tone here in this spot, I don't think at all. I think this horse can have a shot to get up and pick up the win. I mean, does have a win over our track here at Lone Star Park. If you look how this horse has run at the 1 mile distance, has finished in the money in, 4 of 7 races, including a win at a mile. Go ahead and give me Right Tone on top. I got Icarus, number 1, as my second choice. I see that's your top choice. Another horse that's taken a drop in class. You got to like this combination of Steve Asmussen and Eric Asmussen. Eric was on fire the last couple of weeks. I mean, I think he picked up multiple wins, and it's unfortunate that we had some injuries in our jockey colony, but when I was looking at the standings, Eric, he's got a chance to take the title this year.
Very much so, yeah.
No
he's
doubt
in
about
position to actually, with as hot as the barn is and as many more mounts as he's picking up. There's no Stuart Elliott anymore.
Right.
Stuart's been out as well. He doesn't get some of Asmussen's better right now. So, he's got every opportunity to win the riding title, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, I wish they would have had a future wager on this in Vegas. If you were taking Eric Asmussen at the beginning of the meet, probably would have got some pretty good odds. But he's making a nice run, so I think you definitely got to respect the horses that he's on. And then my third choice, number 3, Hard Gold. This is a horse that finished 3rd last time out, was a winner before that. I think this horse is moving in the right direction. Some on-the-board finishes, 3 of 6 so far this year. Has a couple wins out here at Lone Star Park out of 8 races out here. Has 4 thirds to show as well, so 6 out of 8. This horse is finished in the money. A perfect 1-for-1 at 1 mile. Hard Gold, 10-to-1 morning line for this one. We'll see if J.R. Caldwell can't send out a horse that fires here in this one, but I got it 2-1-3 in race 2.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Icarus. So far, hasn't been a great claim for the Asmussen stable, and you can't say that very often. Took this horse for $30,000 in February at Oaklawn. Has been pitching him in against much better claimers than this. 2/6 and an 1/8 so far under Asmussen's care. Drops to the needed level here. Has been working really strongly since that last race on May 17th. And I like the inside post. And in a field where everybody seems to have the same running style, at least give me the inside for a little while. I mean, Eric may have to tip him out eventually. But I'm going to take Icarus over Drive Happy, who seems to like the mile distance. I mean, 3 of his 5 career victories have come at a mile on the main track. Last time out, Drive Happy showed quite a bit of run, but it was all kind of like in a middle move, and then he really flattened out. And I think maybe, if he settles a little better today, he might run a bit better. And then, Right Tone is kind of the Beyer Fig choice. He has some really good Beyer Figs lined up. And, he comes out of a Will Rogers race, and those races have been very productive here this meet. On to race 3. We have 2 scratches out of the 3rd. Scratch the 4, Manifested, and scratch the 11, Silver Steph Hit. 6 of these exit the same race. Actually, now 4 of them, because 2 of them that were exiting the same race were scratched, but a bunch of them still enter exit the same race, where Silver Assassin was a solid favorite. This is a Texas-bred maiden special weight race at 1 mile. I see you're going with Silver Assassin. So is Rick. I'm going to try to beat him, which means it might be a head knocker for me when I try to beat you guys on a favorite. I don't know if my percentage is that good, but I just think Silver Assassin last time out coughed up a perfect trip and still didn't win. This might be his day, and we'll see.
Yeah, I'm on Silver Assassin. I wouldn't discourage too much about that last race. I mean, the horse, if you look at the chart, did get up there and lead it at one point, but ended up getting caught and out-finished in that one, beaten by 2 3/4. We'll see what happens with this field here, but I like that second-place finish last time. The one before that, a second as well. So the horse knows where the finish line is, knows how to be up there toward the front. I mean, this horse is up there toward the front most of the way around when this horse gets out there and runs. Has had 3 tries at this 1 mile distance. One of those was a second. It's had 5 tries on the turf, 3 second-place finishes, a couple out of 4 tries out here at Lone Star. The horse finished second. So the horse finished second a lot, but I like that this horse has those consecutive turf races, 5 consecutive turf races, has done well in 4 out of those 5. I think Silver Assassin can get the job done from the outside tonight. The number 2, He's Charming, is going to be my second choice. This one tried the turf last time out, did all right on it, finished third. The races before that and these maiden special weights, 1 mile in distance. So the horse can go the distance. I like seeing that and then getting back at 1 mile. They're kind of thinking, I'm guessing, this horse is a mile horse, go around 2 turns and run well.
I think based on his early sprint form, it looks like he's much better going 2 turns.
Right. So, he saved some ground like that last race. Give me He's Charming second. And then I took number 1, Moving Van, as my third selection. 3 races for this horse. 2 of them have been at the 1 mile distance. We'll see if this horse can't put something together today and run big. But I like chasing some horses that have some decent odds. But I got it 10, 2, and 1 here in race 3.
Silver Assassin does seem to have the best speed and does seem to like this turf course. The thing that worries me about him, 2 things. He seemed to have a perfect trip last time and still didn't win, although he could very well win today. But he also is a very high-headed runner. If you watch him, he runs with his chin way up in the air, which is just awkward looking. And that's kind of strange to me. And I know when quarter horses do that, JR, the chart caller at Equibase, always notes that when a horse is high-headed. I'm not sure exactly what it means. I can't believe it's the best thing. I think you'd want your horse, kind of down into it a little bit better. But nonetheless, I'm going with He's Charming. He had an atrocious start last time, not necessarily because of the start or the starter. It was just a rough start. Didn't get away well. I think he was kind of roughed up. His best 2 races have been on the grass. He made up some ground last time, but he made up some ground, but he was too far back. So I'm going to hope that he gets a better start today and is able to gain. Silver Assassin may be tough to run down today, but we'll see how that goes. I'd be concerned about taking too short a price on Silver Assassin, but he still may win though. Decent chance of that. On to the 4th. Scratch the horse that was Rick Lee's top pick. The 8, Where Dreams Begin. First-time starter. But the 4th race matches all 3-year-old fillies. They are Texas-bred maidens, 5.5 furlongs.
Yeah, I'm guessing you pretty much knew where I was going. Second-time starter. That's had a good performance out of the first. Number 3, Bling Baby. This filly right here, that first race, ran third in that, missed by 2 1/4 lengths, but led it at one point during the race. Looked good out there. I think Bling Baby, second time, is a charm for this one. Number 9, Bluebonnet Girl, is going to be my second choice. This horse has had a lot of experience compared to the others. 5 lifetime races. Has finished in the money 3 of those 5 times, but hadn't been able to pick up that win yet. I figure if you're going to pick up that win early on, you're going to do it in race 2, race 1, race 2, somewhere early. But 5 times and always a runner-up or finishing behind, kind of makes me wonder a little bit. But I do think the horse is good enough to beat some of these in here with that experience. But I got it 3-9 for the exacta here in race number 4.
And interestingly enough, Bluebonnet Girl did beat Bling Baby by a half length in the last race. But Bling Baby had a really poor start, really slow start. And in a 6-furlong race, if you blow the brake entirely, it's really hard to win. I mean, we've seen horses overcome it, but you got to be 8 miles the best. And last time out, Bluebonnet Girl had a better trip and did beat Bling Baby by a half length. I think that's the race right there between those 2, but I don't have a problem at all taking Bling Baby to reverse things. Her half-sister, White Woman Creek, I mentioned this before, got off to an atrocious start in her debut a few years ago and won the race. And Bling Baby tried to repeat that a little bit last time, getting off to a poor start. Ultimately made the lead in the stretch but couldn't hold it. Could be a lot different in start number 2. They can improve a lot. One thing I might point out is that horse we mentioned, Divertida, that dropped out of a maiden special weight into a maiden claimer, was a nice winner. was in that field on May 27th that Bling Baby and Bluebonnet Girl faced. So that may have been a pretty decent Texas bred maiden special weight field for fillies. Kind of curious, too, if Honest can run better. Comes off the bench. They started her out in a stake. The Barrel Lass had no chance. Came back in February. She stopped to a walk. Now she's been working reasonably well. Adds Lasix, has had time off. She's my third pick. Just might be able to
that might be one
mix it up a little bit.
Bullet workout last time.
Yeah, if you're looking
some time
to
off,
maybe that these
you can't
favorites
get much
aren't the
worse
most
in those
reliable.
last two races.
Exactly.
Though. I mean, by 20 and 21.
You
so.
literally cannot, I don't think. All right, on to race number 5. 5.5 furlongs, optional claimer. You can be in for the claiming tag of 22.5, or you could have started for a claiming price of $15,000 or less last year. Or this, take out number 5, Clue.
Now, earlier you were talking about a race that had no pace in it at all, right? This is the opposite, right?
Exactly.
It's going to be a few horses that are up there just gunning for it.
Yep.
And, 5.5 furlongs, why not, right? Let's go after it.
Yeah.
Horse I'm taking, number 2, Jackman's Ride. Whole bunch of ones you see at different points of call. This horse is speedy, likes to get out there in the front, likes to win races, has won 8 races in his lifetime. 3 of them have come this year. Has won 4 races out here at Lone Star in 7 tries. Has hit the board in 6 of 7. Won 3 at the distance as well. This horse is a winner, likes to hit the board, can run well. I don't think this is a bad spot at all for Jackman's Ride. Go ahead and give me the 2 on top. I got the 6, Espionage, as my second selection. This horse right here pretty much was up there from the front last time out and won that race by 3.5. That was at Oaklawn Park at the 6 furlong distance. If you look back at Sunland this year, this horse was in a couple stakes races. Won one of them out there. That was looks like the Fort Bliss. Since then ran in a couple other stakes races. This horse has shown tendency in the past. If you look back to December of last year, this horse can come from behind and get up there and have a nice race. So maybe if the pace falls apart, Espionage has something to chase. Maybe this one gets up there for the win today, but I really like Jackman's Ride here. And then I got number 3, Love My Jimmy third. It's another one that's been in a couple stakes races. Most recently, this horse was out here on Memorial Day in the Chamberlain Bridge Stakes. Didn't do too hot in that one. Was probably overmatched. Finished 9 of 9 in that one, beaten by 11 lengths. But if you look at the races before that, this horse had put together 4 wins in a row. Won 5 out of the last 6, if you count that last race out, including a stakes race at Turf Paradise. Robertino Diodoro is going to have this horse ready to go today. We'll see what happens when it's all said and done, but I got it 2, 6, and 3 here in race number 5.
Yeah, as you see on the screen, oddly enough, right now, Lindy Wade has picked up the mount on Love My Jimmy. Just happened to come up right as we were talking about him. He's a mystifying case. He's back on his best surface. Week or 2 is not as strong as the horse population earlier in the meet. A lot of horses ship out of there late to go to Kentucky. And, he ran so much above whatever he's done in the past, or at least primarily better than he's ever done before. I'd like to see him do that again. If he does, he might win this one. But on to the 6th. Got all older mares except number 2, She Speaks. She's the lone 3-year-old in here. First level allowance, 5 ace on the turf, and no scratches out of this one.
Yeah, and I'm on 2, She Speaks. This 3-year-old filly right here by Mr. Speaker. This horse has, much like that last race, likes to get out there in the front, right? You see this horse is going to get out there and try to lead it most of the way around, I would imagine. 5 furlongs on the turf is this one. If you look 2 back, this horse ran a race 5 furlongs on the turf right here at Lone Star Park. Picked up the win in that one. Followed that back up with a nice second-place finish in allowance after that back up with that win here I was talking about. Canada Candy, the number 7. Take a look at that one in race 6. I got it 2, 4, and 7.
Canada Candy is my top pick. She has a really good style for this type of race. She doesn't drop too far back, but she always seems to have a good finishing run, and there's so much speed usually in these 5 ace turf sprints, which there is in this race, that it usually sets up for somebody who can lay kind of close and finish. And I'm hoping Canada Candy can do that here. Her turf sprints, by and large, are pretty good. she's run a lot on the main track, and she does have 4 of her 6 wins on the main track. She's also had a whole bunch of trainers. She gets tonight's award for the most trainers. Between claims and just trainer changes, I mean, she's gone just on my PPs in the last year from Scott Young to Andy Glad to Matt Sims to Asmussen to Cravens, now to Caldwell. Seems to run about the same no matter which barn she's in. I think she gets a good trip. Maybe she can pull it off today. Azunia certainly was good last time at Boxcars, 34-1 against a filly I really liked in Halaga, who subsequently came back and won again. And I think you have to give a lot of consideration to She Speaks. If she's the fastest of the fast, she might be able to just run off and take off from this field. It does look like turf might be her preferred surface. Race number 7. This is a good one. Race 7 is a nice handicapping test. 7/8 of a mile, Texas bred non-winners of 3. We have 3 scratches out of this one. The 3 Tigers and Bears. He seems like he perpetually enters in scratches. The 5 Conatlan and the 7 Bandera Bling are all out.
Yeah, I ended up on number 8, Victory for Vets. You know, this horse has run out at Lone Star 3 different times, has a win and a third to show for it. The one time this horse didn't hit the board out here was the most recent race, and that was in the Texas Derby. Big race there. But before that, you know, you see this horse won 2 starts back in the Texas Thoroughbred Association Derby. That was at Sam Houston, won that race by 4 3/4. Ran second in the Groovy Stakes earlier this year. We've seen this horse in some Texas bred stakes and run pretty well in those. Faces Texas breds here tonight in this allowance race. I think Victory for Vets can get up and get the job done. Number 4, Mr. Monte Carlo, 15-1 was on the morning line for this one. My second choice. Last time out, ran 5th in an allowance race, was beaten by 10.5. Comment says off slow, no threat. Draw a line through that one. Focus on the 2 races before that. Wins in both of them, including that maiden breaking win at Sam Houston back in February. Broke that maiden by 8.5 lengths. Was a stakes-placed runner in the Groovy before that. I think Mr. Monte Carlo might be one to play at some decent odds, but I do like Victory for Vets here in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you see that race. You see he ran 7th, beating a dozen lengths. That was a pretty good Texas Derby field. You know, EJ won the Cup, a ship-in for Doug O'Neill, Dymatic. Real Men Violin had just won up at Hawthorne in the Illinois Derby. And this guy, even though he was well back in the field, it was a pretty bunched field, and he was in a lot of traffic. And it's not like he was going to win the race, but he was up in it more than it looks like by looking at the PP line. And, you know, he winds up, you know, finishing in front of 3 horses and beating over 12 lengths. But now he's back in a much more accommodating, although not an easy group. And I just think it's, you know, he's got this race in his, you know, in his controls. It's just he just has to go out and execute it. Team Gormley is turning back from 2-turn races back to 7/8. Definitely likes this strip. It's 2 for 3 on this main track. Comes out of a main track win. You know, he was pressed all the way last time early and drew off. I like Team Gormley a bit here to run second. And Turn North gets off the slop, but boy, he dropped just straight out of it last time after a hard bump at the start. Really hard bump. And came on well. So, you know, there's a bunch of horses with your second pick and some of these others that if Victory for Vets doesn't really come out and respond to this drop in class, there's some challenges in there. That's a good race. On to the 8th and final. All older horses in this one. Scratch number 1, Kick It Again, Bob. Scratch the 4, Prizeless.
And this horse has a lot of experience, 25 career races. I think this one gets the win tonight. Number 6, Just Chillin' is going to be my second choice. This horse was a winner earlier this year at Sam Houston Race Park. You know, led it from gate to wire in that allowance race there back in January. Most recent race was right here at 5 furlongs. Tried to lead at gate to wire, ended up getting caught at the end, finishing second, just missing by half a length. Just Chillin', one to watch here. And then I'll take number 13 coming from the outside off that also eligible list as my third choice here. Last time out, this horse ran 5th, beaten by 3 lengths, but the races before that finished 3rd by a neck. Back in February at Delta Downs, this horse was a winner there, coming from all the way from behind to pick up the win by a neck over a next out winner. That's Elusive d'Oro. So here in the nightcap, I've got to pick 3, 6, and 13 to round out the card today.
I'm going to try to take a big swing in the last. Super Brady, his last race was really impressive, and he beat the most logical second choice in here, Just Chillin'. Has a work since, likes the turf, likes this turf course. But, until he won the last race last month, he had gone a while. He had gone back until 2022 since his last win. Admittedly, he didn't have a very long campaign last year. He's not known for piling up back-to-back wins. And I think he's a tad on the inconsistent side. Therefore, I'm going to try to beat him because I think he's going to be a pretty short price. I'm going to try Clay's Black Opal. Tristan Ashford, somewhat quietly, has had a very good meeting. And this horse last time got completely eliminated at the start. You can draw an absolute line through that performance. You can see that he was 10 lengths back and then 11 lengths back. Wound up beaten by Super Brady and Just Chillin' last time. I think he's going to be a really nice price. Eric Asmussen's riding with a lot of confidence. Clay's Black Opal loves to sprint and likes the turf. So I'm going to take a shot at him at a big price, hopefully a big price. I would think double digits at least in the last over Just Chillin' and Super Brady. And Elusive d'Oro just ran here on Sunday, so he gets the honor of running on 2 consecutive race days here at Lone Star Park. Elusive d'Oro's race the other day couldn't have been much more even. He just ran around there. And I don't know, he gets a drop today, but I'm not a big fan of the guys coming back, on back-to-back race days, even if there are several days in between.
Yeah, I was looking at it last time. You just worked over the grass last time.
That might be it.
Ready for this one.
Like the morning shoot-around in basketball before you go out in the evening to play. All right. I think that's it for us. 34 minutes to post for race number 1. Once again, we're fast and firm. This is the opening of a 3-day week of racing here. 1:35 starts tomorrow and Sunday.
And one more thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Silent auction on the first floor of the grandstand, benefiting the Racetrack Chaplaincy of Texas. A lot of good items down there on the first floor of the grandstand, from golf packages, a lot of signed memorabilia, and then my favorite thing down there, a pair of All-Star tickets for the Major League Baseball All-Star game over in Arlington on July the 16th, I believe. A lot of good items. Go down there and see Diane running the show and bid on some items and take you home something great from the races tonight while benefiting the Racetrack Chaplaincy of Texas.
And that's tonight right here inside the east entrance?
That's correct.
So right inside, if you're on track here, when you come on in on the east side over here where we are by the Valet Oval, a lot of good things to look at.
No doubt about it.
All right. Thanks a lot for looking in tonight, and good luck on your Friday.